As you know, it's Women's History Month, and we have some fire women guests. Our guest today, I can't wait to introduce you to her. We'll be right back after the intro. Our special guest today is all things HR, coaching, leadership development, learning and development, and I'm excited to introduce you to her. If you are joining us for the first time, my name is Linnita Hosten, and organizations come to me when they're ready to develop confident communicators so that they can effectively build the teams that they have in-house. And I get excited to do that realm of work with organizations and also individuals. But for the month of March, in celebration of Women's History Month, I've been bringing in some powerhouse guests who have a wealth of knowledge, not only in HR, considering the job market climate right now, and also the state of our current administration, but things that they want to, not things, but that these women are actively empowering other women. And I want to introduce you to them. So Aisha, welcome to Excellence in Everything Live. We're really glad to have you.
Hello, Linnita. Thank you for having me. I am so excited to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. Tell the world who you are, a little bit about yourself, and what do you do?
So my name is Aisha Scott, and I start off by saying I'm a corporate educator first, and I'm also a certified life coach. And I combine those two to help make an impact in people's personal lives and their professional careers. I am the CEO and founder of Time to Impact 365, where you have 365 days to impact your life and your career. And then I'm also the CEO and founder of the Real Boss Ladies of Human Resources. Just being in this space of HR for so long, I have so many amazing women that I get to meet. And I just wanted to bring everybody together to let them connect, let them collaborate, but also to educate, engage, and empower the next level of boss ladies that are looking to get into the human resources field.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And you have an event coming up. I'm actually one of the speakers at your upcoming event. It's happening Saturday, March 22nd. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we are excited to have you in the house with us and our amazing boss ladies. So March 22nd, we will be having our 2025 Real Boss Ladies of HR Transform Her Summit. We are going to have speakers. We are going to have panelists. We are going to have some amazing women in the room to be able to network. But we're really going to be looking at the theme, as you can see there, which is embracing growth, leading change, and navigating transitions. We know right now there is an ever-changing landscape when it comes to just the world that we're in, but also within the workforce readiness, job readiness, and even the job search field. So we're going to have our experts just sharing how to show up, how to use your voice. We are also going to have an expert there to give us insight about generative artificial intelligence, or AI, as we hear it referenced often, and just an amazing room full of women.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to it. I've been saying this is the time to get in the room, to be around women who are in HR, because I feel like you guys have those secrets, those undisclosed secrets about hiring, onboarding, offboarding processes. So talk a little bit about what are some common or key factors of a successful interview, in your opinion?
The biggest thing is to be ready, but I'm going to take it back just another step. And so I actually posted something recently on my Time to Impact page, and we did a workshop. We did part 1. Part 2 is coming up in 2 weeks, and we're in March, and I love a good acronym. And so it was talking about how to march into your next career opportunity. The first one is to market yourself. So before you even get into the interview, making sure that you are marketing yourself, be it networking, be it in person, be it via socials. The next one, preparing for the interview as well, is about analyzing the job description. And that's a big one. Sometimes people don't even apply for something because they feel like they're not qualified. And so really honing in, this is one of my biggest coaching tips, honing in on the preferred versus the required on the job description. So we talk about that preparation, making sure you really see the difference between the two, because sometimes recruiters and managers, that job description list is like a Christmas list. And so really honing in on what is truly required for you to apply for this position or be a candidate for this position and the preferred. So then when you get into that interview mode, you start pulling on the pieces from the job description to be able to relate to that manager how your skills and or your transferable skills will tie into what they're looking for in the job description. So that's one of the key points is market beforehand, but in the interview, be able to tie in your transferable skills to the job description. So see, that's market yourself, analyze the job description. Of course, revise your resume, communicate with confidence. And Linnita, I know that is a space that you live in. And then the last one for March is H, to have an accountability partner. So be that an executive coach, and we do that at Time to Impact 365, or to have a mentor or a sponsor. But to that initial question, I will definitely say key point, analyze the job description, be prepared in the interview to talk about your specific skills that align with that job description.
Yeah. I love how you described it as a Christmas list, Christmas wish list. That's a really
Yes.
good analogy. You might not get all these things, but if you really could get those things, this is what you desire. That is so
Yes.
good. I never looked at it that way. Tell us about, because you've talked about Time to Impact offers coaching services. Tell us about a success story that you've had supporting a woman in pursuit of a career goal.
Oh, absolutely. I had a client one time and her resume was like 3 pages long, but 3 pages of really amazing things, multiple degrees, multiple levels of leadership. And when we started as our client coach relationship, her communication to me was, I don't feel like a leader. And so one of the things within the Time to Impact realm, my coaching model, I call it boss coaching. And so I love a good working acronym. And so I really hone in. And one of the first questions I ask audiences at keynotes, my coaching clients is, do you feel like a boss? And sometimes people raise their hands, sometimes they don't. And I really hone in on the fact that when you look for jobs and positions, you don't see boss listed as a job title. Being a boss is truly a mindset. It's not a job title. And the acronym that I have aligned with my coaching program under Time to Impact is, to be a boss, you have to be outstanding at something simple. And so that is where we hone in first when we talk about coaching. And so this particular client, like I said, she had an amazing resume. And so as we started to really dig in to find out what are her values, how are they aligning with where she is now in her career, how are they aligning with where she is with the company? And so I'll take notes as we go through. And by that fifth or sixth session, she was like, yeah, I started this initiative at work. I reached out to this person and I'm doing this new project. And I'm like, a few months ago in my notes, somebody told me they didn't feel like a boss at all. And she was like, put those notes away. But just really, one of the things with my coaching is, it's not about me always telling a client what to do. We do have those moments of a component of mentorship, but it's really about asking powerful questions to help them remove the personal roadblocks that are keeping them from their next step and being successful. And so for that particular client, again, she then decided, okay, I'm going to hang around here a little bit longer. Like I said, she took on some additional leadership roles. She created some ERGs within her organization. She put together a whole employee appreciation week, kind of led the charge. And so in that coaching with her, it just revived her around her passion for people, passion for her industry. And so she, again, took on some additional pieces, but also showed up as a better leader to herself and to her team.
Mm-hmm. The transformation from coaching is invaluable. I've been saying to some of my coaching friends, the external world, those who don't practice coaching, see it as a luxury. But if you've ever been coached, it's a necessity, especially if you are a high achiever or someone who's goal oriented. You do need that extra encouragement, that power, empowerment, that push, that challenge. And it sounds like that's what that lady got out of, the woman got out of your support.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us a little bit about, what role does branding play in advocating for yourself when it comes to career growth?
It's huge. We live in a world, of course, of social media, and you have an opportunity to brand yourself outside of your job. And that actually ties into that market piece that I had into the march into your next career. But if you are looking for something, you can utilize tools like LinkedIn to show up as the professional you want, to provide your thought. Being a leader is about, having thought leadership sometimes. And so you might not be a leader by title where you work, but you can show up and create a brand on LinkedIn. You can also create a website for some people when they're thinking about that job search. What does that look like for them? How can they show up? You can go create a website and be able to show what you are as a leader, show your values, show your thought leadership. But creating that brand is really important. But it's also important to make sure you're being mindful of what you're putting out there with your brand. So if you are on social platforms, so even with the LinkedIn, being mindful of what you post, what you don't post, but creating that professional brand really allows employers to come look for you versus you having to constantly look for them.
When you were in, maybe we shouldn't disclose this, but I'll just ask anyway. I'll throw it out there, and if you say can't answer that, fine. But if you've ever sat on an interview panel, do you search that person by name on any of the social media platforms?
So I will say I personally don't. So I interview a little bit differently. I sometimes, and even like if I have a position coming through and I know that my team is going to be a part of the interview, I like giving them a blind resume. So I will actually, take some of that information off so that they can view the individual for their qualities. Typically, the recruiter is the one that may do that research, kind of like a pre-screen before they get to the hiring manager. And so they may review a person's socials, they may review that person's LinkedIn. And then sometimes it does depend on the company and the position where your outside brand can truly have an impact on the organization. So me personally, I'll be honest, I try not to because I want to be able to have an unbiased opinion when I am sitting down with that person to give them an opportunity to truly tell me who they are.
I love that. I love that. What advice would you give to that woman who is considering career transition during this current state of administration? What would you say to them during this time?
Why not say do it? It's scary. Looking for a job is a whole nother job. But prepare yourself. Be prepared. Don't just jump into it. If you are making a transition by choice, or if you're making a transition by force, the most important thing is to be prepared. So if you have a resume and it's been the same resume since you started with that last company, have somebody else look at it. Make sure you refresh it. Make sure you see what the trends are. As women, oftentimes we deal with imposter syndrome a lot more often. So again, when I say hone in on that job description, the required versus the preferred, don't knock yourself out of an opportunity just because you feel like you don't hit all of the bullet points on a job description. So take a chance. All somebody can do is tell you no. So be prepared, refresh your resume, take a moment right now to, if you haven't created a LinkedIn or created a profile or that professional brand, do that. But don't be afraid to apply.
So good. We need to hear that. We do need to hear that. So thank you for sharing. Any final remarks that you would like to leave with those who might be watching our episode today?
Absolutely. Again, the biggest thing when it comes to how you show up in your interview is show all the way up. Just because you submitted your resume, just because you may have done that pre-screen, when you get in front of that hiring manager, give them everything. Leave nothing on the table. Know how to be succinct with your responses, but again, that comes with preparation. So prepare for your interview. If you're doing a virtual interview, I always stress to people, practice in this virtual space because technology sometimes is your friend. It's not. If you're doing a virtual interview, make sure you have a professional background. Make sure you still show up professionally. One tip that I have been giving a lot of people lately, which I will really stress, is yes, AI can be your friend in helping you to prepare for your interview. However, please do not utilize AI during your interview. I've had a couple of situations where people have had their AI running and we could see that they were actually repeating the question so that they could repeat it into their Bluetooth. And
Wow.
then the responses were these amazing responses. And then when we got in person, they couldn't answer anything. So be prepared. But that's one thing I will stress is do not
Wow. See, we thought just the kids were using AI to submit their homework. Wow.
No.
Wow. Yes. Thank you, Aisha. You echo a lot of my sentiments. The power of preparation does a lot to your nervous system.
Yes.
It's going to do a lot to your ability to be succinct. Love that you said that. I always say, write it down before you have to speak it aloud, especially if you're not accustomed to speaking succinctly, which is just brief. So yes, you echo a lot of the sentiments that I definitely practice. And I also preach. As you can see, Aisha is a wealth of knowledge. So can you imagine what it will be like to be at the event next Saturday, March 22nd? If you are in the DMV area, and even if you're not and you can get there, Columbia, Maryland, tell us what the website is for them to register again.
Absolutely. So everything Boss Ladies. So the website is bossladesofhr.com. All of the socials, Boss Ladies of HR. It is going to be an amazing event. And again, even though we are the Boss Ladies of HR, this event is going to be for women from all professional industries. Everything in the room is going to be valuable for everybody. So it's not just for HR executives and HR women. It's for a room for everybody. And yes, if you are out of town, it is from 10 to 2. So you can jump on a train and make it on down and still make it home at the end of the day. So please come on and hang out. There are tickets still available. We are 7 days away from the event.
Awesome. Thank you, Aisha, for allowing us to share moments today and to empower the women who might be watching.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Listen, my motto is excellence in everything, which is your highest quality of effort. If you did not get a gem from Aisha, I'm going to need you to just rewind. So thorough and brief and practical. And if you got that in a 15-minute podcast, imagine what you're going to get out of half-day summit. So I really encourage you, if you're thinking about a career switch, if you just want to be empowered by other professional women, if you want to meet some other women who are in that professional space, you should come out to the HR Boss Lady Summit that's coming up March 22nd. It's all over my socials. If you're on my email list, I've been talking about it for the past 4 weeks. So I'm going to also drop a link at the end of this podcast so that you can catch a ticket if you are willing to come, if you're able to come. If you're not able to come, I'm also going to drop links to Aisha's services that she provided, just in case you're thinking about getting career coaching. I love you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And I will see you next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Bye now.